Do you understand why mental health is important? Not many people do. Mental health is a very overlooked topic in our society. I'm here to explain to you the reasons you should understand why mental health is important and what you can do to help people who suffer from mental health issues. First off, the definition of mental health, according to www.cdc.gov, is our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we feel, think, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. Secondly, mental health has never really been a big deal in the past. This is because it has been seen as being weak or not a real illness, which is not true. Third, mental health is very present. Stats say that more than 50% of Americans will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lives, and 1 in 5 people will experience a mental health issue each year. Now, I'll begin to talk about why everyone should understand the importance of mental health, whether it affects them or not. I'll begin by talking about how mental health affects everyone, whether it's a personal effect or not. The first major effect is on people who suffer from mental illnesses. Mental illnesses can vary in many different types. One type is mood/anxiety disorders. Anxiety disorders include some of the following: phobias, OCD, and PTSD. Mood disorders include some of the following: depression and bipolar disorder. Some treatments for these disorders can be therapy and medications. A second type is psychotic disorders. Psychotic disorders include some of the following: schizoaffective, hallucinations, and schizophrenia. Some treatments for these disorders also include therapy and medication. The third and final type I will talk about is eating disorders. Some of the types of eating disorders include anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating disorder. Treatments for these disorders include psychological therapy, medical monitoring, and occasionally medication. Now I'll go more into depth about the effect mental illnesses have on people. The first effect is physical. Types of physical effects include things like altered sleep patterns, increased heart rate, changes in hormones, and changes in weight. Other physical changes occur from psychiatric medications. Those can include weight gain and even irregularity in heart rhythms. The second is mental effects. Some effects include a decrease in energy levels, lack of motivation, negative behaviors, and stress and anxiety levels. Mental illnesses have a huge effect on people's physical and mental well-being, which is why it is important that we fully understand these so we can help those in need. The second major effect is on family or friends of those who suffer from mental illnesses. There are several different ways mental health can negatively impact those who are only around it. The first is the ripple effect. The ripple effect is a way mental illness can show its effect on families and friend groups. The reactions can include creating stress, changes in lifestyle, and tension. When taking care of someone with a mental illness, sometimes it's difficult to keep up your own well-being. One way to keep your own mental health up is to learn as much as you can about mental health. It is also very helpful to understand symptoms of whatever mental illness said person is going through. Finally, even though the person is suffering, the mental illness might seem like the only priority. It is important to take care of yourself in every way. Some of the physical and mental effects of being a friend or family member to someone with a mental illness are the following: somatic problems, which include migraines, insomnia, a decrease in appetite, and fatigue. Cognitive and emotional, which include anxiety, fear, anger, depression, guilt, and confusion. And finally, behavioral troubles, which include social withdrawals and a change in attitude. There are many ways to help deal with these kinds of issues. One is family support groups. A support group that is very common is National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NAMI. NAMI gives education, support, and public awareness about mental illnesses. It puts together support groups for caregivers and even people suffering from the illnesses. For the final topic, I'll begin to talk about why it's important we understand the importance of mental health. Mental health has become a very prevalent thing in our society. Therefore, everyone should understand the effects and the importance of understanding it. A huge reason it is so important to understand is so you can help others with their mental health. This doesn't necessarily mean people who have mental illnesses, just overall keeping people in the best mental health place they can be. Here are some ways you can help: building healthy friendships and other relationships, paying attention to the present and not focusing on the past or the future, and staying physically active. On the website www.mhanational.org, it gives some tips on avoiding negative thinking. It won't only increase your mental attitude, but also others. To avoid negative thinking, avoid negative talk of yourself or others, avoid thinking of people who bring you down, and ask yourself if negative thoughts are really true. Spreading mental health awareness. Mental health changes the way everyone lives and functions. People with mental illnesses can start to see physical changes in themselves, which is very unhealthy. It also leads to changes in performances in things like school, sports, jobs, and relationships. In some cases, it can lead to self-harming, suicidal thoughts, and in extreme cases, suicide. It's important to spread mental health awareness for many reasons. It helps to destigmatize mental health, makes signs of mental health easier to identify, and makes conversations of mental health much easier. Now that you have learned and hopefully will understand the importance of mental health, I hope you will use it to help anyone in need. Mental health is very important to our society, and it will continue to be, which is why this information will be very beneficial. Mental health is a huge topic, so by making efforts to spread awareness, we can help to increase positive talk of mental health, and therefore get rid of any embarrassment of mental health and mental health illnesses. I hope you are now well educated and will use this information in a positive way and help better your peers' thoughts on the subject as well.